For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, December's arrived and we are just getting excited about the Christmas season. The wonderful thing happens on December 25th, the birth of Christ. We're going to celebrate that. We're going to celebrate other religions. It's going to be just a great time in the Blue Water area. We're glad that you are along to hear some of the stories about things that are going on. Let's begin today's Focus program with two ladies that are always welcome here. Lou Wagmeyer, nice to see you again, Lou, and Pat Davis, both from the Marine City's world-famous Civic Women's Club. How are you doing?
Great, thank you.
So, Lou, let's start. It's going to be Saturday, December the 10th.
Yes.
And what's happening?
Well, we're offering our traditional Christmas home tour. And we always are excited about it too because they have wonderful homes. And our goal is to showcase Marine City.
Well, Marine City's got such an array of beautiful old homes.
Oh, absolutely.
And so many have been restored.
Well, now that's a big deal because they are restoring many of them. And we have some for next year already which are being restored. So it's working. And now Marine City is a destination town. You know?
You're darn right it is. Darn right it is.
There's just so much going on.
With all the restaurants and the theaters.
Right.
And of course Todd. And Sweet Tooth, that's the destination in itself.
Right, and the Burtons with their big building, and now we have the popcorn store. Yep. And of course the restaurants are just great.
Doing great.
Online, standing in room only.
Pat, what is your involvement with this project?
Well, as a group, we solicit the homes that we're going to have on tour, and we have had people that have called us and asked us if they could be a part of the tour. And then we organize it. Our goal is to have a minimum of 5 homes every year. Mm-hmm. Well, this year we have 6 homes and 2 different churches.
Wonderful.
So we have, or actually one is the Washington Life Center. A lot of people have been curious since they probably went to Washington School when it was a grade school.
Washington Elementary.
So this gives them an opportunity to come through and see what they've done and converted it to the senior center. What's really exciting about this year too is our farthest point north is the Fellowship Baptist Church, which is just on M29 near Recor Road.
Right.
So that's the farthest point north, and our farthest point south is the Holy Cross Rectory, Lady of the River Parish Rectory. And with that, that means that all the homes, the 6 homes that we have, are all really nice and condensed in between. In fact, a couple of them are close enough. It's a beautiful night. The people may want to park their car and go to a couple of the homes.
What I have in front of me is the ticket, the actual ticket for the event. And where do I get the tickets?
You can find those tickets at Todd Sweet Tooth. He's right downtown, you know, but he moved across the street.
Right.
And at the Bear Grace Emporium, she also moved across the street.
There was a lot of moving going on last summer.
But she's on Broadway, and of course Todd is on Water Street.
Also, they're available at Parkside Printing.
All right.
And then the night of the event, they will be available at the Pride and Heritage Museum.
Oh, okay. The museum will be open too.
That's correct.
Oh, good.
And then for those that are north of us that like to come, and we do have a lot of out-of-towners that'll come and participate, we do have tickets available at Suzanne's in Port Huron.
Okay, very good. Well, if Gerald throw up the tour for us on the back monitor here, we'll take a look at just exactly where you're going. This is Fellowship Baptist Church, as you said, on the north end of Marine City. And what's going to be happening there?
Well, it might be a problem of people wondering how to get in there. That's so obvious from the highway, but you do sort of have to take a road off. But they'll see the sign, and they'll figure out how to get there.
Right.
But it's already being decorated. There's 6 huge Christmas trees in there, many wreaths. It's going to be very beautiful.
It's a very nice chapel.
Yeah.
Very nice chapel. All right, next we have, talk to me about this house. This is whose house?
This is the Osterbeck home. They were on tour with us a few years ago, but we had so many positive comments, and so many have requested if they would like to be on tour again, and they graciously offered to have it's located right near the end of Francis Street and M29 river frontage they have, and it's decorated beautifully.
Okay, and then we have the Doherty Holcomb home.
Now this home, if you're from Marine City, originally Dr. Beauchamp used to live in this many years
Okay.
ago. This is on Main Street, faces the water, and I think you're going to want to tell them about access to the home too.
Well, because you can park on the highway, it's very convenient. There will be a sign that shows where you're going to park, but we're going to drive behind the house. They have plenty of room back there. So it'll be an easy way to get there, but you have to watch for that parking sign. And we'll be coming in one door and out the other, but no way will we use the front. So it's,
Okay.
it's going to
Along
be
M29, you cannot park.
right.
Okay. All right. And then next we have the Washington Life Center, which of course was Washington Elementary for numbers of years, probably 20 or 30 years, I suppose.
Exactly, from its origination. And what's nice is you'll get to see the different rooms and activities, and also you'd like to tell them about the museum.
Well, just recently, they have created the Veterans Memorial there, and I was there yesterday, and there are 2 rooms that are just fascinating, and they did dedicate it about 2 months ago to Jack Morris. That was always his dream, and now the one gentleman who did most of the collecting of antiques and so on is his wife is part of our tour, so he will be there that night, and I've asked Ruth Morris to come to be there too. She's a little hesitant, but I talked to her the other day, and she said, I think I'm going to do it.
The fellows have been on Focus here.
Yes, yes.
Talking about that museum, and it really is a labor of love for those guys. And they've done a remarkable job of gathering lots of artifacts.
Oh, it's full in there, right.
Great. All right, next we have the Ray Milley home.
Yes,
Is that
and
right?
yep, the Mealy home, and it has a beautiful Victorian accent to it inside. He has a wide collection of various artifacts.
Really?
From almost has a museum quality. So it's a fun Victorian home with a lot of interesting artifacts that he has collected over the years inside.
Okay. And plenty of parking there, and they're just across the street from Old City Hall, I think.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Right around the corner. And the next one is, you guys pronounce it.
The Gadzinski home.
Kaczynski.
Yes.
Okay.
And what's exciting about this, we heard that many years back, now I was born and raised in Marine City, so before my time, that this used to be a meat market.
I was going to say, it looks like it could have been a store.
Yeah, and just recently, it had just the flush front there on Main Street, and just recently they had added the remodeling there with the porch, but they said that there's still hooks in the basement that you can see where the meat was hung at one time. But they're very excited and very proud to have that. And that's another home that many people have passed through the years and have said, gee, I wonder what that looks like inside.
I would imagine there's a lot of beautiful woods in there.
Yes.
That's true of almost all these homes. The wood has still been well taken care of, and they just have an interesting upstairs that they're going to feature because they believe that the people who lived there have left the ghost.
I was just going to say, were there ghosts there or something?
Well, you know, that's funny, but there's a room there that the temperature never changes. It's the same in 100-degree weather as it is if it's below 0. And they can put a heater in there, it doesn't change. So there's something mysterious about that. And that's going to be open for anybody who wants to.
Wants to get in the room.
To check it out.
That's worth the price of admission in
That's
just
right,
itself.
and we're not even going to
That's
charge.
a whole different show there.
Yeah, we're not going to charge anything
Not
extra for
anything
that
extra
either.
for that.
Little benefit.
All right, and then the Poshley, is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
Poshley home, and talk to me about this one.
Well, they don't live there all the time. That's Dr. Pashley's home. He was interested in its historical value. His office is directly across from it. They basically live in Chesterfield Township, but they spend their summers here. And it has some interesting features, a fireplace that's just beautiful. And they are going to be there that night and
Oh,
will show
wonderful.
off what they have.
Wonderful. I heard that it's not good for the owner of the home to be in their home during a home tour because people say, oh, that's the ugliest chair I've ever seen in my life.
I don't think we've ever had that happen because we want them there.
Oh, you do want them there?
People say, well, who lives here?
Yeah.
Well, many years ago during the home tour, they did request that the owners would leave
Right.
just because statements like that may
Right.
happen. But as life has gone on and we've had the tours, if anything, it's high praise and
The other way
compliments.
around.
So we've been encouraging the homeowners. We have a different method now. We encourage your homeowners to stay and some of their family members. And what's exciting is they're the ones that can give the original story or
Yeah.
a really, we ask for a little bit of history and story
Right.
so we have something to share. And when it comes to the homeowner, there's nothing that can
Right.
show the enthusiasm of a
Right.
home but a homeowner themselves.
And finally, Our Lady on the River Catholic Church Rectory, better known as Holy Cross Rectory. Talk
That's
to me
right.
about that beautiful building.
Well, this one I'm particularly
Right.
really excited about this. I spoke with Father Rooney last year, and in his wonderful Irish accent, he said, "Why would anybody want to come and go through this home?" I said, "Oh my gosh, Father, I've lived here forever, and I've often wondered, what does it look like
Right.
inside?" So, and it's
I wonder
wonderful.
does it say when it was built?
I believe it's
1885.
85. Yep.
Wow.
So 1885, and the basic structure is the same as back then. They have remodeled the kitchen though, and last year when we asked them, they were in the middle of that remodeling because they had a water problem. So now we have a new kitchen, but the rest of it is pretty much what it used to be. The only thing that's varied is the different pastors that have come through. They have adjusted it because it's their living quarters.
Right.
And Father, with his Irish background, it's interesting. He has made it comfortable with his Irish history, and that's fun to see. So we went, and he basically he says, well, the only thing, Pat, is the only thing I have is I put up my manger. So he allowed us to go in. So 6 of us went over the other day and helped decorate for him. And it ended up, he really liked it when we were done.
Beautiful.
And what I think is a real bonus on this is he's graciously allowed us to also go upstairs and to go through and
The private quarters.
The private quarters.
Downstairs there's some offices, right?
Right, and the
And the
offices.
kitchen and
Yep.
dining room and things like
Yeah,
that.
well, and then the living area. That living area off to the right, that's gone from a living area to an office area back to a living area. And the right front used to be a front porch. Now, of course, it's opened up. So the layout, it's a great layout, beautiful banister, and we're going to go upstairs and get to see the quarters
Great.
up there. There's a chapel upstairs.
Oh, really?
So it'll be really nice.
Okay, now to the important details. The show itself is on Saturday, December the 10th.
Correct.
The end of this week, from 5 p.m. till 9 p.m. And the tickets are available Vera Grace, the Sweet Tooth, Pride and Heritage Museum, Suzanne's Fashions in Port Huron, and Parkside Printing. Tickets are a big $10. That's just tremendous. I mean, what a bargain. You can't get a deal like that and have an evening's entertainment for $10.
We've considered raising the price, but we found that this has really become a real couples night, either a girls' night out or a lot of couples, a lot of men have been showing up. So if you start doing it as a couple and it gets too unaffordable, then you're going to lose, and we want people to become acquainted and love Marine City like we do. And what's exciting is so many of the restaurants and the stores downtown, they're anticipating because it's a night that it keeps them really busy. So it's a wonderful night out, not only to tour, but to have dinner, go shopping in some of the shops that are open for us.
In case people don't know, what does the Civic Women's Club do?
Our
What do you do with
basic,
your profits?
and that's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking it. The majority of our funds does go into the maintenance of the river park, which is the main park. We call it the heart of Marine City. It's right downtown next to the Guy Center, across from the Sweet Tooth. So we use those funds to maintain the park, to buy the plants every year. When you go by, we have it purchased in lighting. We have a berm down at the end. So there's actually 3 different sections of the park, and we have goals and future plans on improving every year. So we have our short-term goals and long-term. So the majority of the money goes toward that, But then we also do participate with charities. Our highest charity that we participate in and contribute to is the Marine City Scholarship Fund.
Yep.
We give a substantial amount to that every year. And then we also are strong supporters of the Old Newsboys and Helping Hands.
Good. So the money stays local.
Yes.
All of it is local,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
Lou, as Santa Claus called me the other day and wanted to know if you'd been a good girl all year.
Yes, I have.
You
I
have.
hope he stops.
Well, then
Yeah,
he'll be
thank
stopping
you
to
for
see you.
asking that.
But first, he's going to try and stop by
Good,
the
good.
home tour and enjoy himself. We want to thank you both for coming. Lou, always a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to see you. Pat, we'll see you
Thank
soon.
you.
Everywhere in town.
Yes.
We'll be back with a friend by the name of Howard Colby. He's got some very important information for us to talk about a group called FAN. We'll find about it in just a minute. I'm holding up a brochure that a friend of mine gave me, my friend being Howard Colby, and it's entitled FAN, Families Against Narcotics, Your Connection for Information, Resources, and Support. And it's a nice brochure, and inside of it, it's got a picture of some wonderful young people on the bottom there. I'll hold it up straight. And those people are all victims of this disease, which is called narcotic addiction. Let's find out more from our friend Howard Colby. Welcome
Hey.
to the Focus Set.
Glad to be here,
Nice
Paul.
to hear-
Thanks.
Nice to have you here. This is an organization I've heard of before. There was a judge down in Macomb County, and her name was
Dr. Davis.
Dr.
Linda Davis.
Linda Davis.
yes.
Who's been here with Mark Miller from Camille's talking about FAN, but I didn't realize that FAN has moved to Port Huron area.
We became the 12th or 13th chapter. They have about 16 now throughout the state. And a chapter is we now cover St. Clair County. A young lady that started with me, Melissa Latham, and she's a therapist out at Sacred Heart. The
Oh,
recovery
wonderful.
So-
Great organization.
But we hooked up with them because they've had such success in reaching the opiate problem in the community, because that's primarily what we deal with is opiate, script drugs and the heroin. And you may not have known it, but Port Huron area, the Blue Water area, is the second or third largest heroin area in the whole state.
Wow.
And so we, 25 ODs a week. This is from Chief Reeves and Sheriff Tim and the law enforcement people, along with the medical people. But the script drugs has just exploded. I mean, meth, arresting people for cocaine and marijuana anymore is pretty low on the list compared to where this epidemic has reached.
And it started in the houses, didn't it? In the
Yeah,
home.
yes.
I mean, the people would take prescription drugs and get addicted and then go to the next step.
Right. Most of these people that you showed on the inside, these young people, there's a myth that if you're doing heroin or opiates, you've got a brown bag of wine, you're out behind the bar laying in the street. It isn't that. What's happened is that young people get in stealing their grandpas or moms or dads scripts or whatever to get high, or they go to a party and they get high. And so the script drugs really is kind of the doorway into heroin. Heroin is so much cheaper than script drugs that what happens when you run out of money to buy the script or you can't get the script, heroin is like a tenth of the price of
Oh my
these.
God.
Yeah, it's amazingly low. And so what happens is they progress this because the opiate component of the drug is the same thing. Whether you're doing the heroin or you're doing the script drugs, it still has that same kind of reaction to the body as far as getting you high and then also the cravings that come afterwards. And it's hard to get off.
What does FAN do for the addict? How soon can I become involved with while I'm using?
Yeah, well, yeah, we have a meeting once a month, and we're in the process of setting up other weekly groups once a month, and we have a speaker or somebody comes in and shares. It may even be an addict. We have several parents that have lost their children that have died to the opiate. But next Thursday, the second Thursday of every month at 6:30 at Colonial Woods, we host the meeting there, and you come in and we share, and we try to break the myth of that only bad people or down and out people. I mean, we're talking high school, even the junior high level. And so we go through that, we find out, we hand out these kind of brochures that I have here for you today, and we try to help them find either we have information on recovery centers they can go to, we have other support systems that we hand out. So we're trying to break the myth, inform and educate, and also to have parents start to watch, until you become a parent, you kind of blow that off as far as, I'll get around to it when I get around to it.
Right.
But once you have kids and you start to see that these things are out there, especially the level with I-94 and 69, and the bridge is a perfect for the drug dealers. They come in, they set up on the weekend, they sell. The next weekend they have two other drugs from the same drug family come back up, and so even if they got busted, next week they have two. They have regular teams that just rotate.
The business.
And they bring
big business.
Billions and billions of dollars.
You have a bunch of brochures you referred to. This one, they've got great titles. Not What the Doctor Ordered, Path to Addiction, A Killer High. It talks about heroin, gateway drugs, prescription drugs. So there's lots of information available, but you've got to you got to make that first step, don't you?
Right. And so we have a lot of parents come with their addicted child, and even some children, adult children will come with their addicted parent. But there's one thing, you don't very often see an older heroin addict, because you either get off it or you die. And so it isn't the prognosis isn't real strong in staying on it because of the way that the opiate drug does to your body. And so we work with the St. Clair County Health Department, Dr. Mercantant. They have a group for script drug, a task force to deal with that, to try to get doctors to slow down the scripts and to also find alternative ways to deal with pain. Pain is a real issue, and opiate drugs do work, but the cost sometimes is really high.
You're doing great work, sir. You've been doing this for a while, but I think you now see that the epidemic is much worse than it's ever been.
Yeah, I've been working with addicts. I mean, I spent 18 years as a drug user, drug dealer myself before I came out. And I also try to bring a faith-based understanding to it. Although we're with Colonial Woods and Colonial Woods supports us, it's not part of Colonial Woods per se, but 100% backing. And what we're looking for is that we're looking for any place there anybody wants information, we'll come out and speak. We have young adults, like those young adults on that page, that will come and speak at your youth groups or adult groups, whatever. We're looking for anybody that wants to get a greater understanding. Had a mother last month's meeting, has an 11-year-old son and a 9-year-old son, not involved. She says, but they're going to be confronted with it. What do I do? So we can give them help, suggestions, and a connection where they can call somebody. You can call me. My name's on the back, or my number's on the back of all these brochures, and you can call, and we'll make room, help, orchestrate a plan with you, try to find some way to, whatever the need may be, because they're all different.
Right. Howard, you're doing great work. Have we missed anything?
No, it's pretty much covers. I mean, I could go for days. But,
addiction can begin in the medicine cabinet. I'm hearing that on the radio all the time, the television. We've had Sheriff Donlin sit there and talk about the same problem, and when he has those days where they collect the prescription drugs. But it sounds like a wonderful organization. I'm glad it's finally in St. Clair County. The new face of addiction. Knowledge saves lives. Families Against Narcotics. Howard, Colby,
great.
You're doing great work, my
Thanks.
friend. Good to see you. Good to see you again. We'll be back with a report from United Way in just a second. It's this time of year that United Way is making their big effort to serve lots of people in St. Clair County. They've got a new video. Let's take a look at it right now.
Hi, my name is Ella. Last year, my dad brought home this button. I asked him where he got it from. He told me United Way. so I began to ask more questions. My parents couldn't answer everything, so my mom called United Way and asked if I could meet them. It was really neat, because I learned a lot. And because I had so many amazing questions, United Way asked if I could help them. Ta-da! Reporter Ella at your service. But what about me? United Way said that I get to do this. Can I be in it too? I'll see what I can do, Layla. That was my sister. She got to come along. Where was I? Oh, talking about my visit with United Way. I learned they have a whole bunch of heroes that give them money. And sometimes those heroes help decide where the money goes. They kept talking about their core values, which is being local, accountable, and volunteer-driven. As a reporter, I discovered what those core values meant. First, I met a deputy and a firefighter in Algonac, and we talked about what being local means. Thank you for meeting me, Mrs. Danielson and Mr. Doan.
Welcome to our town, Ella.
How long have you supported the United Way?
Actually, not very long,
Why not?
because I didn't know how the United Way impacted our town until recently.
What do you mean?
I saw a ramp being constructed at a resident's home, and I checked it out. It was being built by the ramp crew and was paid for by the United Way. The ramp was something visible, but I learned United Way does so much more behind the scenes every day.
Last year they helped over 100 local residents. Programs focus on youth, health, and senior services.
What else do they do that's local?
I like knowing the dollars that are given here stay here, and they help the people who raise their families here.
Luckily, the United Way is there to save the day. And thank you for your support by being local hometown heroes. Holy information, Batman! Oh, Layla. It was a lot of detail. That's gotta be the reason why my parents had a hard time answering my questions. Guess what? United Way told me they helped 12,632 people last year. Next, I met the county sheriff, and we talked about accountability. Thank you for meeting with me, Sheriff Donlan. I'd like to understand why you think United Way is accountable to its donors and its residents.
Well, it's my pleasure, Ella.
Did you know the money that is raised here stays here?
I sure do. I'm actually secretary of the board, and we make certain the United Way helps residents in every town in St. Clair County.
What else does United Way do to be responsible?
The volunteers monitor the money closely by using everyday people.
Like who?
Hometown heroes, like bankers, industrial employees, retail store workers, accountants, and retirees. They make sure the money is helping our residents, and they are following the policies set by the board. In the western area of the county, we have 1 volunteer serving on our review committee and 3 volunteers on our board.
So people like my own family can make the decisions?
They sure can, Ella.
Where does the money go?
Last year, they funded 43 programs, such as People's Clinic, which helps people with their medical prescription needs.
That's neat.
It's a responsible community investment.
Thank you for keeping our town safe. Next, I went to St. Clair and learned what United Way means when they say they are volunteer-driven. I met Wade, who works at Cargill Salt. Hi, Wade. Thank you for meeting me. United Way talked about being volunteer-driven. And I hear you can help explain what that means.
Sure, Ella. I've been involved with United Way for 18 years. I've worked with people at Cargill who volunteered in nearly every capacity of the organization.
How do they do it?
The volunteers on the campaign cabinet raise the money. Then the volunteers on the Citizen Review Committee spend the money. And the board of the directors, they approve the recommendation, and they're the administrator of the entire organization. It's really cool. I've watched United Way help and address the needs of so many people throughout the years.
Sounds like volunteers do an awesome job.
They do, and they're accountable by making certain everything stays here, in our hometown.
Thank you, Wade. That covers core values, but there's still more. I got to make the McPhail family. I learned that our hometown heroes are everywhere. They reached out to United Way, never realizing what they could do. Thank you for meeting me. United Way said that they helped your family.
Yeah, last year on May 2nd, I had gotten a call that my son Nick had been in a terrible accident.
I was on my dirt bike. I had fallen before, but this time was different. I couldn't feel my legs because I was paralyzed.
So what happened next?
I was in intense therapy for about a year.
Throughout this process, Nick's independence and positive attitude has never changed. He has grown and overcome the odds. United Way was there to help our son Nick. They were here to help build a ramp, and the ramp gave us peace of mind because we knew that our son would be safe at his home if there were ever an emergency.
They also help connect me with other programs and services to help offset expenses.
They've done so much more than I ever imagined for our son, Nick. Thank you.
I'm grateful every day because I'm still improving and have been able to remain living in my own home.
Thank you for your time and sharing your story. Wow! I had no idea United Way does so much. Luckily, our hometown really works together to help people. Finally, I shared what I learned with Becky Smith, President and CEO of Lake Huron Medical Center.
Thank you for your help, Ella. I heard your sister was here too.
Yes, she was in the studio.
That's great. I believe in families in our community supporting one another. What did you learn about the United Way?
After my interviews, I realized they use hometown heroes to make sure all the money is really helping local people. Even though United Way's core values are different, they are alike. Without being local, accountable, and volunteer-driven, there wouldn't be a United Way. They can't do all the amazing things without everyone coming together to support it.
You've done a great job capturing what United Way is and how our hometown heroes help local residents. I was born and raised here. This is my hometown. I'm proud to be a part of United Way because we're helping 23 organizations that do not have the ability to raise money on their own.
Thank you.
Ella has explained the core values, but without our hometown heroes, we could not have impacted 43 programs last year. As a 2016 campaign chair, I encourage you to join me to impact the community by giving to United Way of St. Clair County. Thank you.
Well, the United Way video certainly tells the whole complete story, and if you haven't helped with United Way so far yet this year, this is your opportunity to get in contact with them. Thanks for watching Focus. That's it for this week. Until next week, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.